Boy, oh boy, where where do I begin with Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars? By the time of this recording, the Acolyte has ended. It's ended about a couple weeks already. The finale happened. So we're at this point right now in the timeline of Dan the Man's life. What the fuck, Disney? What the fuck, Lucasfilm? What the fuck, George Lucas? As you could tell, this is going to be a very explicit rant. I used to absolutely love Star Wars. And I didn't start loving Star Wars until I got into high school. So I got to, well, I guess a little before high school. Everybody knows I love movies. Everybody knows I love TV. And Star Wars was just, I've seen it before when I was a kid, but it never really captured me until I got a little bit more older and watched the prequels first. I grew up with, what was it, 99, Phantom Menace. I actually really liked it at the time. It's kind of crazy. You rewind it or fast forward it 2024 and you're rewatching it in a theater and you're just like, boy, is this movie pretty boring. Because I'm going to let you guys know the prequels are still bad. They're not very good. The third one, The Revenge of the Sith, I think is the best one out of all of those. But boy, is Attack of the Clones probably one of the worst movies I've seen in the Star Wars category or catalog, I should say. And that's including Disney's Star Wars. And we'll get to Disney Star Wars. Don't worry about that. We've heard so many rants. We've heard so many just dissecting of both the prequels, the trilogy, and the sequels. We've everybody's done it. Everybody's talked about it. Everybody's ranted about it. But you know what? I'm fucking tired of Disney having this property. This is what I'm ranting about. I still hold true. That's why I said I think the prequels are not very good. I think George Lucas dropped the ball on a lot of great potential though. There's a lot of good moments in the prequels. And of course the original trilogy is one of my favorite things in media of all time. I mean, I actually really love Return of the Jedi. I think that was like my number one movie for quite a bit. And then I saw Empire, like more of Empire Strikes Back. And you know what, this movie kind of just takes the cake. You really, it's really everything you wanted in a movie. And then A New Hope was just everything you wanted in a start of a trilogy. So I think honestly, that is one of my favorite, if not my favorite trilogy of all time. I love the original trilogy. It is what movie making is all about. It's what an ambitious George Lucas was all about. But then you go to the prequels and it just drops the ball everywhere. And then George Lucas sells to Disney with Bob Iger's help. And I just can't believe how much we have fallen with this franchise. I can't believe how much potential we could have had when The Force Awakens was released. And I was excited for The Force Awakens. And I still remember watching it with one of my buddies and my other buddy. We're watching at Santa Barbara, this nice theater. And I'm so excited. This is the time where I haven't been really spoiled on anything. So I'm just like, I'm in it, right? I'm like, wow, Star Wars again. The trailer looked amazing. You have Han back. What is the deal with Rey? Like all these questions, like everybody else had. And you know what? After getting off that first screening, and my buddy's just super pumped, loving the movie, and so much excitement from leaving that theater and talking about it in the car. I was the only one that was like, I really like it. I think it was really a great first step to a new trilogy or a new set of movies. But I didn't love it. They thought I was nuts. And I still, to this day, I really still like it, but I don't love it. And obviously, where it goes from there is wow. Fucking wow, Disney. How much have you dropped the ball? How much have you really fucked the fans over with a lot of just so much storytelling that could have been in the big screen. You fucked it all up. And I thought you couldn't fix it because one, you killed off Han Solo too early. Too early. I always said like you would have. You know what Harrison Ford wants? A lot of money. You give him more money than anybody has. Like Robert Downey Jr. can get for playing Doomsday, and you give him that money for at least one more film to reunite the original trilogy characters. They didn't do that. They killed him off. Tragically, Carrie Fisher passed, and that was it. That's a done deal. There's no going back and resetting a timeline or anything like that. You can maybe do it cartoon wise, animated wise, but that's it. You're not going to get your Mara Jades. You're not going to get your true Thrawn characterization. It's all going to be spun by Disney. And who is in the driver's seat? Fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy. How is she still running this thing? There is no, oh, Kathleen Kennedy, let's just wait. Like, no, like, fuck her. Why is she still running this? What is going on? And honestly, I do believe that maybe she does have a lot of things, dirt, on everybody. And that's probably including Steven Spielberg. And I love Steven Spielberg. But Hollywood, you don't get your hopes up with them. You don't view them as role models because Hollywood is Holly weird, right? I just don't understand how Kathleen Kennedy can really drop the ball on this, can really like put her message in a lot of these movies. And I don't really care if she does. The only thing I care about is what is the final product. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if I don't care if Finn and Poe get together. What is the final product? Is this going to make me feel something? Is this going to make me satisfied with the story, the visuals, the creativity? Is this going to bring me back to the original trilogy and how I felt then? But movie after movie after show after show, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau when he was there, Kathleen Kennedy, whoever is running a lot of these shows have disappointed me. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni started really strong with Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian, but look where we're at right now, where there is no excitement for Star Wars. There is no excitement for a connected Mando universe. Ahsoka, I had high hopes for that. Dog shit. Obi-Wan, high hopes for that. Dog shit. This is crazy. The Acolyte, great premise, great idea. Bad taste in my mouth. Especially with Leslie Headley, which I don't understand Kathleen Kennedy hiring her even though she was the assistant of Harvey Weinstein. What does that tell you? Like, it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of everybody on the decision making that's going on at Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's doing. It's not only Star Wars, it's also Indiana Jones. I don't even really care for Indiana Jones, but watching that last movie, I was like, wow, what a slap in the face to all the fans who love that series. Because that's exactly what's happening to Star Wars. I'm just dumbfounded on why they couldn't pull, and they pull a lot of things from Legends now or the expanded universe to the forefront. They use some things, especially in the Acolyte. They're starting to use a lot of the Legend stuff, and they're not doing it right. It's not like, oh, it's everybody's opinion. Everybody wants to make their own movie and stuff. Like, everybody kind of agrees that this is not great stuff that we're seeing. This is not great storytelling. This is going nowhere. This is building to nothing. How do you go from Force Awakens to, what was it, Rise of Skywalker? Like, it was garbage. Like, they have not taken care of this franchise whatsoever. Did George do that? George, he did. I think in his hands there was some things that were really, really good. There were some things that this is what happens when Disney takes over. He did exactly what he didn't want to do, and he did it. And I kind of get it. I kind of get it because how much of the hate he was getting. He literally gave this away. He gave, or not give this away. He got money for it, but he gave this to Disney, and Disney has tarnished the legacy of everything that has come before it. You cannot say watching the sequels and now watching what's going to happen later on with the Ray movie and stuff, you can't say that this is not all tied in. I remember John Campea used to say, well, we always have our original movies. That's not the case. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case of a lot of franchises anymore, like Jurassic Park and so on and so on and so on. It's not just going back and watching those movies because now we know there was something after those movies. Sure, we can go back and watch great filmmaking, but we have this really behind our head, and what we're thinking is, oh, but this leads to this. So you had your original trilogy, you had your heroic of Luke Skywalker, the Rebels, this and that, and then it leads to the sequels. And we all know what all these characters that we love, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, what happens to them? We're all heartbroken of where they took these popular, amazing, iconic characters and they threw it in the trash. You can't sit here and tell me that when you go back and watch the originals now that doesn't come to mind, at least for an instant, of where it goes. Unless you've never seen them, then boy, are you the lucky one. Watching the Acolyte really kind of it's tiring, man. Like before I didn't really want to speak about this. I never really want to talk about Star Wars anymore just because how bad the dividing of the fan base is. How bad like The Last Jedi kind of started it, but honestly I think it started before that. I think it started from the prequels, but it just got worse, and now we're seeing the actual product get worse. And I think a lot of Star Wars fans are kind of feeling that. It's so hard to talk about Star Wars because if you're as old as I am or older, you want to talk a little bit about the original trilogy. And then the younger generation just kind of knows just the prequels and what's going on right now. They know Mando, they know Baby Yoda, aka Grogu. I love some of the things that have happened over the years. I do like Mandalorian season 1. I think the last Mandalorian season that came before it was garbage. I thought it was a mess. I think Boba Fett, when Mando comes into that, was great. I was never a big fan of Boba Fett's character, but I didn't think it was going to end. His character was going to be like that they made him to be. One of my all-time favorite characters from this new kind of generation, I should say, is Chopper. I love Chopper. I love Chopper more than I love R2-D2. Chopper's my boy. He's a menace. I love Chopper. And I got to thank Dave Filoni. But Dave Filoni really did okay a lot of what the Acolyte was doing. And this kind of bizarre because the Acolyte is one of the worst shows that ever has been made for Star Wars. But then you also get Andor, which is one of the best slow shows, but doesn't reach the audience. I think just because a lot of good faith and a lot of goodwill, Star Wars has lost that. Kathleen Kennedy has lost that. With Star Wars, if you're going to be cutthroat on Star Wars, you're going to look at Disney as an empire. You're going to look at Kathleen Kennedy. I just don't know why she's still up there than what I just previously said. That's the only thing I could think. She's still there. I don't care if it's another woman taking over. I don't care if it's Dave Filoni taking over, Jon Favreau. Well, I do care if Dave Filoni takes over. Honestly, I should retract that. I don't care who takes over. I just need somebody who takes over who loves this property so much and is willing to see if they could fix it. But I think at this point, Star Wars is already a dead property. I think Star Wars has lost its luster. I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen lightsaber battles. We've seen We've seen starship fights. We've seen evil versus good, and then them trying to make the evil ones misunderstood. We've seen this all already, and nothing is creative anymore. Nothing is really outside the box. Nothing is blowing you away. The only thing that's blowing you away is a lot of the visuals, which I think the visuals sometimes could be amazing. The sets, the locations, the casting. Some of the casting's fantastic. Acolyte did have some great casting. Obviously Pedro Pascal, I knew him from Narcos, and he has killed it as Mando. So, Rosario Dawson I love, but I don't think should have been Ahsoka in my opinion. But that's just my opinions. I fucking thank the heavens that they didn't bring in Mara Jade, which is one of my favorite all time Star Wars characters in the expanded universe. I love the story between her and Luke. I love how they get together. I love a good romance in any media. So Mara Jade, I have her statue here, her Coda Bukia. I have the Return of the Jedi Luke here. I have these two together. But not only them, Thrawn is one of my favorite villains. And when they brought him into Ahsoka and they brought him into the fold, I think Rebels was okay with it. It just wasn't my Thrawn that I've read in the expanded universe. But then when you see the Thrawn, you see the actor who voices Thrawn in the Rebels series, and then you see him in live action. That's, I'm sorry, but you don't look like Thrawn. You don't look like Thrawn to me. We've seen cover arts, we've seen illustrations, we've seen him in Rebels. The point of staying true to a character too is to physically. I would like to see physically him be Thrawn from the expanded universe. You're great in Rebels. You're not good here. And not only that, the writing is atrocious for Thrawn. How stupid he is in Ahsoka. So when they brought Thrawn in, I was excited, but then seeing the final product and seeing the live action, no, no. Benedict Cumberbatch was one of my top choices. I think he would have nailed it. He would have nailed the look. He would have nailed a lot of the menacing vibe that we were getting, which I don't want to knock that off the actor because he did voice Thrawn Rebels, but it's not the same. It's not the same. I think one of the highlights too is bringing in Ray Stevenson, R.I.P. I remember watching him in Rome, and I thought this guy was awesome in Rome, and of course he was the Punisher as well. But I knew how his capabilities of being a great character and a great presence, and boy, did he nail it before he tragically passed, which I was so shocked about that. So Star Wars is able to cast really great people in a lot of this could be great potential series, but then they shit on everything with their hiring of the writers, the showrunners who have not proven themselves. There ain't no Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad. There's not even a Kurt Sutter from Sons of Anarchy. So why the fuck would you hire these clowns who haven't done anything? Sure, a lot of directors who in the past who haven't really done anything or come and blow everybody away at certain movies and stuff. Look at I think it was Josh Tank that he did the terrible Fantastic Fours before that. Well, anyway, whatever. They're hiring people who don't even understand anything about Star Wars. And then I can go from Star Wars theory and how much he's invested and stuff. And I do like listening to a lot of his takes and stuff. But there is some things you should change for the live action, just like anime to live action. So some things you don't have to go too crazy about, but there is absolutely agreement on you have to have people who know the lore. You don't have to go T to T on the lore, but you have to respect some of this stuff because a lot of people, Star Wars when it came out was huge. It changed film. It changed blockbuster. It changed everything. People didn't just love Star Wars. It was their life. And while we're living life, there's something always to hold on to in life. This Star Wars is one of them. You could hold on to the love of movies, of movie magic, of all that stuff. So to kind of discredit that and call everybody man babies and to tell everybody get a life, we're living life, and one of the aspects of life that we love to do is watch a movie and just to, if you're going to make sequels and sequels about this movie or about this franchise, how about we respect it? Like respecting your elders. Respect your elders. That's why I'm just baffled about what the fuck they're doing with a lot of this stuff. They're dropping the ball, but I don't know if it's intentional or not. Cause it feels like it. It feels like it. I have Star Wars stuff, and I still have a love somewhere there for Star Wars. But it's more of me hating what Star Wars has become lately. It's more of me really not being very excited for a lot of the properties of Star Wars. I'm not excited at all. Not excited for any Mando seasons, not excited of Andor season 2, even though I really liked Andor season 1. Not excited for the new movies. I'm not excited for any of this. What I will be excited for is the change of direction. The firing of Kathleen Kennedy probably won't ever happen. There may be an announcement that Acolyte season 2 is not going to go forward, but most likely it will. What can I say, man? I think all of us feel frustrated about this shit. I think we don't understand why they took the approach and direction, why there has to be a war between fans and the higher ups, why they don't get it, why they don't understand why there's so much hate for this, why there's so much hate for a lot of the fucking shows, a lot of hate of why you give Obi-Wan, an $80 million budget, but you give the Acolyte $180 million budget, why there's hate there. They don't get why we love Obi-Wan, why we love Luke Skywalker, and we hated to see Luke Skywalker drink fucking breast milk. They don't get that. They don't get how Last Jedi was divisive, and then it goes to Rise of Skywalker, which is complete shit, yet makes some money. They said, oh, maybe they like it after all. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's insane that after I'm done with this video, that this shit is still going to keep going on for a couple more years. It's insane that they're making a Rey movie where the character had so much potential, and there's really, it's funny because we go into this Rey movie, but haven't we had enough of Rey? How they dropped the ball on actual their characters that could have done something like Finn and Poe, but they dropped the ball on those characters. It's not about gender. It's not about they, them, or whatever. It's about storytelling. It's about, it doesn't matter what the sexuality is, because that shouldn't fucking matter. What matters is the journey. What matters is the adventure. Is there sprinkled romance in a lot of media? Yes, because we're humans. We love. We hate. We're crazy. We're sane. But it has to be written in a way that is done by love. You don't fucking make food if you're to somebody you're going to serve it to if you don't really love what you're going to make them. Everything tastes better when there's love put into it. Your fucking grandma's tamales taste so much better when there's love put into it. I don't understand. I don't get it. After all these years, I'm 34 fucking years old. We're at the point where, man, I am so happy to see a lot of things happen in my lifetime. I think we live in this fucking best. I think I lived in the best era of human life. Because I love movies, I love TV, and there's been a lot of shit that came my way that I am so grateful for. But that famous red letter media thing, you live so long to see a lot of your things you love go to shit. Just consume product. So I just want to talk this about Star Wars and how I'm feeling about the whole franchise. I'm not feeling good. I haven't felt good for a very, very long time. I'm at the point where I kind of want to fucking divorce Star Wars. but something kind of keeps me lingering around. And all right, we'll see what the fuck's going on, in this show or movie or whatever. I could bitch, I could complain, I could ask for people getting fucking fired, but am I gonna watch the product? Yeah, probably. Am I gonna go the first day it comes out? No, because the excitement is gone. I'm going on a fucking Tuesday on Regal. 50% off, 50% off popcorn and shit. I'm not gonna give you my money to see it the first day it comes out. I'll save that for more piquing my interest movies. Or I'm not gonna stay up of the first fucking night to watch a Star Wars program. I have to be very desperately bored to want to just turn on an Acolyte episode, which a lot of these shows that they've made is not gonna sustain in time. It's gonna wither away. Nobody's gonna give a shit. Nobody's gonna watch that. I'm Dan the Man, aka Daniel-san. This has been a little bit of a rant. I'm surprised I didn't cuss a lot more or say a lot more vulgar stuff about Star Wars, but I did it. If you like, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to join the Dan the Man crew, like the video if you did like it and like my little talking about Star Wars. And, just let me know. Let me know what you guys are feeling about this whole shit. Or how do you fix it, man? How do you fix it? And what character did Disney not ruin for you in expanded universe? So I'm Dan the Man, aka Daniel-san, and I will say this because I still hold a lot of love for the original trilogy, and I still hold a lot of love for Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite characters, and Han and Leia. May the Force be with you always.